What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. We got some breaking news for you guys here in this video. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis drops out of the race suddenly. Give you the details here on that. Also, multiple attacks here in the Middle East against the U.S. and multiple different things. To give you the details here on that as well. Also, a big decision from the Fed coming here expected this week. Give you the details on that, how this will affect the United States and millions of Americans. Let's jump right in. Here we go. Thank you so much for liking these videos. It really helps out our channel and helps it reach more people. If you haven't yet, subscribe down below so you don't miss out on new videos. Here we go. Okay, first up, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis drops out of the presidential race. This leaves only Nikki Haley and former President Donald Trump. This, first of all, there's a little strange. Take a listen here to what Florida Governor Ron DeSantis said. I believe he said this multiple times. Take a listen here.
As somebody who's a leader, you should want people who are delivering big victories for their constituents, standing up for conservative values, which Kim has done. And it's almost like with Donald Trump, if you don't kiss the ring, you could be the best governor ever and he'll trash you. You could be a terrible, corrupt politician, but if you kiss his ring, then all of a sudden he'll praise you.
Yeah, that line about Ron DeSantis saying, if you don't kiss former President Donald Trump's ring, then he'll trash you. Ron DeSantis said this at least twice, because I seen him say this standing up at another speech. Then he goes on to endorse Donald Trump after he drops out of the race, which is kind of strange to me. Kind of strange to me. You could let me know your thoughts here on this in the comments. This leaves only Nikki Haley and former President Donald Trump in the Republican primary. Former President Donald Trump in the lead, well in the lead as the Republican primary. And, there are a lot of people that are saying, just in case anything happens with Trump and all these lawsuits and these states trying to, take him off the ballot and stuff like that, DeSantis is now out of the race, and it only leaves Nikki Haley left for the Republican candidacy. Let me know your thoughts here in the comments. A massive missile barrage on the U.S. base in Iraq leaves multiple personnel being evaluated for brain injuries, officials say. This comes after the U.S. continues to be attacked. Take a listen here.
Overseas, a new attack on a U.S. military base in Iraq, and one of the biggest in the region, is raising concerns about a wider conflict in the Middle East. Ralph Sanchez joins us now from Tel Aviv. Ralph.
Jose, U.S. Central Command says a number of American service personnel are being evaluated for traumatic brain injury after multiple ballistic missiles and rockets were fired at the Al-Assad air base in western Iraq. Some of those missiles were intercepted, but others did get through, and the military says it is still assessing the damage. The attack was carried out by an Iranian-backed militant group known as the Islamic Resistance, and it's the latest in a string of more than 140 attacks on U.S. bases across the Middle East since the start of the Gaza war.
So Iran, their militants and multiple different militant groups here just continues to attack the United States, mostly unanswered. Meanwhile, Iran warns airstrikes on Syria will not go unanswered as they continue to just attack whoever they want in the area. Iran's president said an airstrike on the Syrian capital that killed 5 senior members of Iran's security forces will not go unanswered. They said Israel was to blame for the attack, which also killed a number of Syrian forces. Israel has not commented. For years, it has carried out strikes on the Iranian-linked targets in Syria. Such strikes have intensified since the Israel-Gaza war began following Hamas's October 7th attacks on Israel. Meanwhile, it kind of feels like the United States is sitting ducks over there with the U.S. military bases and the U.S. ships over there as well. it kind of feels like this is getting worse and worse and escalating more and more. Almost feels like it's gonna come to a head here, and something's gonna happen, and this is gonna get. I mean, I don't feel like de-escalation is happening anytime soon. Attacks are happening every single day over there. Yeah, let me know your thoughts here in the comments. The Fed is likely going to make a decision this week. Two important events this week could determine the future of Fed rate policy. And yeah, sometimes it feels like they just do whatever they want, but it will likely come down to two economic reports this week, which are the gross domestic product report, which will be released on Thursday, and the personal consumption expenditure prices rating on Friday, on inflation on Friday. Say that 5 times fast. I know it's a mouthful and it's a nightmare even thinking about this stuff. Quote, it's not about secret meetings or decisions. It's fundamentally about the data that will determine policy, says Chicago Fed President Austin Goolsbee, who said this on CNBC. Meanwhile, the stock market has or is at all-time highs depending on the index. The Dow Jones index, the S&P 500, and the Nasdaq, all three of them are at or near all-time highs. You can see the Dow Jones index nearing 38,000, 37,863.8. Was up 395 points at the last closing day. And this is before the Fed has actually lowered rates. And when they actually start lowering rates, I think we're going to see even more probably boom on this. So this has been good news for a lot of people, for people's pensions, 401ks, IRA, retirement funds, and also remember people's pensions are mostly invested in there as well, 401ks, IRAs. Also, I expect that we will see a lot more people diving into refinances once they start to lower rates. And we're already starting to see here, I seen an article at the beginning of this year, just when the Fed hinted at lowering rates, we already started to see mortgage rates coming down, even though they hadn't officially lowered rates. The mortgage industry lowered rates on their own. So once they actually start lowering rates, we will see rates really start to come down. I think we're probably going to see rates come down about 3 times or so this year, is what the market is predicting. So if we see rates go down 3 or so times this year, and even more, or another 3 or 4 times next year, that will be good for the stock market and the bond market, people's retirement funds, and people who are also in the market as well. But it will also be good for interest rates to come down. We will also see credit card interest rates come down. We will see personal loan interest rates come down, mortgage interest rates come down, car loan interest rates come down, and pretty much interest rates on everything come down. So you guys can let me know your thoughts on all of this. I will keep you up to date here as all of this comes out, when news comes out, and everything on a daily basis. So thank you so much for hitting the like button. Share this video with anybody that needs to hear any of this information, and make sure to click the subscribe button down below, and then the bell icon so you don't miss out on any new videos that come out here every day at 8 p.m. It's completely free to do so, and I will keep you up to date. Click here to see 90,000 new NATO troops preparing for war, or click here to see Biden's new announcement of $12,000 for potentially millions of Americans. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.